Wanted to talk about, I guess, what's called seasonal depression. And I thought of this yesterday when I saw on, I guess she considered her a friend. I don't know. I guess I'm a friend. I don't know. Who knows? We'll call it that for now. I saw on her story, she was talking about how she had gone to the cemetery to leave flowers for her father at his grave on his birthday. It would have been his 50th birthday. And he had committed suicide near Christmas. I think it was probably 10 days before Christmas, I think is what she said. And when she went there, there was a worker there next to her digging a grave. And he didn't stop while she placed flowers there and spent some time with her father. And my first response was I was infuriated. I mean, I thought how indecent of that worker, regardless of whether they have a job to do or not. How inhumane, how disconnected, and I wanted to punch them. It. I think even when we have a job to do, that doesn't remove the moral obligation of being human. So on one hand, I was angry for her. On the other hand, I thought, what is it like to be him? Here he is on Thanksgiving, and I'm assuming it's a guy. Could be a woman. They. I'm going to say he. I'm going to go with my assumption. How does he feel? He's there on Thanksgiving. He's digging a grave for somebody. So for him, he's had to, and I assume it's not his first. He's had to turn off that emotion. He's had to have that switch to disconnect from this woman that's there next to him, grieving, maybe celebrating. I don't know. I can't say. Some cultures don't so much grieve as they do celebrate. They don't grieve death as much as they celebrate life. But whichever the case may be. So and after I reconsidered, and I struggled with that, and I thought about it a lot last night. I was thinking, how would I feel? There's a part of me that would like to think I would say to that person, like, hey, could you give me a minute? I understand you have a job to do, but could you give me a minute? I'd like to think that's what I would say. But then there's a part of me that thinks, you know what? That guy's got a shitty fucking job. That is a shitty deal. To have to dig someone's grave on Thanksgiving, regardless of why the person died, and it's unfortunate that, and I don't know the statistics on this, but I know when I lived in Nevada, the holidays were just a fucking brutal time of year. You have people that, whether you agree with it or not, go out and spend money they didn't have on presents for people. And in some cases, they think, I can win it all back. I'm going to go to the casino. And that was one of the traps. They'd go to the casino. Not only did they not win it back, they ended up losing paychecks, losing all their money. And the suicide rates would spike during the holidays. And it made me think, the holidays they're hard for a lot of people, myself included. My family doesn't really, not that they don't celebrate the holidays, but an example, I didn't talk to, and by my own admission, I didn't want to. Um, my mom didn't call me until 10 o'clock on Thanksgiving to find out. She assumed, um, I guess, that I had figured something out. She knows better, but maybe she doesn't know better. I shouldn't say that, but the thought, my point is that she doesn't think to call me and say, hey, I'd like to make dinner and spend time with you. And as I said it out loud, I wouldn't want to go anyways, um, for numerous reasons. First of all, I hate driving on holidays. It's dangerous, especially going over the mountain. There's a good chance I need chains, or just I don't want to drive. And I like driving in the snow, but not everybody knows how to do that. So there's the risk that I don't want to put myself through. But that's a superficial reason. The real reason is I don't want to sit there and listen to negative bullshit all day. It's the same reason I didn't return her call until today. I didn't need to hear or want to hear the, and I get it every year. I'm sorry that this family isn't the way you wish it was, and so on, so on, so on. They just you can. I'm sure most of you can play that narrative in your heads, um, and it's unfortunate because when my grandmother was alive, which she passed away around the holidays, but when she was alive, it was the family got together, and you didn't have to like each other, but you shut the fuck up. You got in the room. You spent the day together. You put your shit aside. You put your differences aside. You didn't bitch. You didn't moan. You didn't complain. You got together and you enjoyed the fact that you could spend time with each other. And I enjoyed that. And I got to enjoy that when I was married with my ex-wife's family. It didn't matter whether liked each other or not. It was irrelevant. The family got together. You spent the day together. You had conversation and you engaged with each other, and you watched football. You did whatever. You ate. You talked. You laughed. Um, it was kind of like the like a Hallmark type movie, but that's what it should be. It was never about gifts. It was about I get to spend time with these people. They're good people, and you get to spend time with those. And I was very fortunate. I've been very fortunate. The last 3 years, I've gotten to go spend Thanksgiving, a good part of the day with AJ and his family, and I enjoy that. It's fun to just get to spend time with people and be around people, because it can be, and this time of year is the highest risk for me to relapse, because it's easy to just sit there by yourself. I live alone. I'm single, so there's, other than the gym and work, I don't really interact with people outside of those two venues. Those two settings. So it's really easy to just sit here and start thinking about those things, and um, the temptation is there. It'll be. I think this is either 5 years. I think 5 years next week of being sober. Um, Might be 4. I don't know. I kind of don't keep track. It's one of those things that I don't really think about, because it's just become normal for me. It's become every day. But this time of year is extremely difficult for a lot of reasons. When you and I was, like I said, I was thinking about that. I was watching her story, and it really bothered me, um, because it reminded me of how hard this time of year can be.